Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews and commentaries. First, the highlights. Oba Rashidi Ladoja crowned as 44th Oluyole of Ibadan land.
Court rejects Nnamdi Kanu's no-case submission in terrorism trial.
4 die as mining site collapses in Plateau.
And 4 killed, 400,000 displaced in Philippines term below.
Now the details. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has formally presented the staff and certificate of office to Oba Rashidi Ladoja, officially confirming him as the 44th Oluyole of Ibadan land. The presentation took place today during a colorful and historic coronation ceremony, which was held at Makbo Hall, Ibadan. The coronation was attended by notable dignitaries, including President Bola Tinubu, further highlighting the cultural and political importance of the event. Makinde's formal presentation of the staff and certificate of office marks the final step in legitimizing Ladoja's ascension to the throne, symbolizing both tradition and continuity in Ibadan's monarchy. This coronation is especially notable as it brings the former state governor into a revered royal role, merging political experience with traditional leadership at a time when community influence and governance are increasingly intertwined.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Tinubu, has assured Nigerians that the economy is on the path of recovery, noting that the sacrifices and resilience of citizens are beginning to yield results. President Tinubu gave the assurance today during the coronation and official presentation of staff and instruments of office to the 44th Oluyole of Ibadan land. His Imperial Majesty Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja held at the historic Makbo Hall, Ojaba, Ibadan. The President, accompanied by his wife, Senator Oluyole Tinubu, described Oba Ladoja's ascension to the throne as a historic moment. He likened the current economic challenges to a surgical process that, though painful, would ultimately bring prosperity and sustainable growth to the nation. In his remarks, Governor Makinde said the event had put to rest tussles over Ibadan's traditional institution, describing the process as transparent and sacrosanct. Deputy Governor Bayo Lawal, who delivered the welcome address, commended stakeholders for their contributions to the success of the coronation. In his acceptance speech, the newly crowned Olubadan Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja expressed gratitude to the state government, the Olubadan Council, and Ibadan indigents for their support. He pledged to serve Ibadan land faithfully and used the occasion to appeal to President Tinubu for the creation of an Ibadan state.
Today, history was made in Ibadan as Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja, Arisa I, a former senator, governor and respected leader, was crowned the 44th Oluyole of Ibadan land. The President General of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, Chief Ajeniyi Ajewole, and former lawmaker Honorable Abiodun Awoleye highlighted the significance of the coronation on BT's Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM 120. Our reporter, Fidora Afolabi, monitored the program and now reports.
As the curtain rolls on a new era today in the coronation of a new monarch, it marked a momentous day in Ibadan's history as Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja was enthroned as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land at the historic Makbo Hall, ushering in a new chapter in Ibadan's storied kinship legacy. Discussing the coronation of Oba Rashidi Ladoja on BCOS AM 120, the President General of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, CCII, Chief Ajeniyi Ajewole, aptly described the event as uniquely historic, a moment to transcend words and is truly unprecedented. He stressed that the coronation of Oba Rashidi Ladoja is uniquely historic because no previous Olubadan has had the distinction of serving as governor and senator, making today's event a momentous occasion worthy of celebration.
The coronation is unique in the recent history of Ibadan land. Unique in many sense. Unique in the sense that in that home, we used to have 1 or 2 days program for the coronation of Oluyole. But for this one, we are having about 8 days. Ibadan ilu Oluyole.
Also appearing on the program, a former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abiodun Awoleye, expressed his joy for the new Oba, describing him as a man of simplicity who believes in lifting others up and has the interest of Ibadan at heart. He explained that a grand celebration for Oba Rashidi Ladoja is well deserved, emphasizing that the monarch's achievements and contributions made him more than worthy of such recognition.
The way he does this, he will know that this Ibadan thing is very paramount to him. Anything Ibadan is paramount to him. If you go to him and you go to him on Ibadan matter, you can be sure the answer you want, anything you want to get, you will get from him. No other thing, he's always interested in Ibadan matter and politics, because he's also he can advise you on what to do in politics.
They both urge everyone to emulate Oba Ladoja's simplicity, prudence and developmental mindset, praying that Ibadan land will long benefit from his wisdom and leadership. Fidora Afolagboye, BCOS News.
As part of activities held in the installation of Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja as the 44th Olubadan, Christian indigents and residents of the ancient city were joined in a mega praise concert in honor of the monarch. Our reporter, Damilola Daudu, who was at the event, has the details.
It was an atmosphere of praises, singing and dancing as Christian faithful gathered in celebration of the birthday and coronation of the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. The mega praise concert organized by Olori Bukola Ladoja set a spiritual tone for the historic coronation with songs of thanksgiving, prayers, and powerful ministration. The mega praise concert also combined the richness of Yoruba culture with the favor of Christian worship, reflecting the deep connection between tradition and spirituality in Ibadan land. Several gospel musicians, including Evangelist Bolare, Pastor Sheye Oni, Pastor Livingstone, Oluyole, Pastor Olumide, Olatono, and Adeshola Akinola, steered the audience with soul-lifting praises and worship. In a message, Evangelist Bolare highlighted the centrality of praise in ushering in divine blessings. She reminded the people that kingship is ordained by God, and enthroning a new monarch with thanksgiving brings heavens back into his reign.
Praising the Lord means a lot. For us to have praised the Lord here on behalf of Kabiyesi, the king, to be crowned tomorrow is fantastic. It's what the Yoruba calls a rubo to the King of Kings, to the Lion of the tribe of Judah, to the Almighty God.
Also speaking at the concert, the chairman of Oyo State Christian Pilgrim Welfare Board, Bishop David Muradeyo, emphasized the purpose of the concert, noting that beyond the cultural and historical significance of crowning a new Olubadan, it was crucial to dedicate the throne to God.
The man born 1944 and going to be the 41st king in Ibadan land. So he's coming up as 44th. I'm here to thank God for what the Lord has done for him in this mega praise.
Among the distinguished personalities present at the event are the Iyaloja General of Nigeria, Chief Folashade Tinubu Ojo, politicians, traditional leaders, and religious groups. Damilola Daudu, BCOS News.
The Federal High Court Abuja has rejected the no-case submission of the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, in his ongoing alleged terrorism trial. In a ruling, Justice Omotosho held that the prosecution had established a case against Kanu to warrant that he be ordered to enter his defense. The judge, who dismissed Kanu's no-case submission, found that the evidence led by the prosecution and the exhibits it tendered have raised serious allegations of Kanu's involvement in terrorist activities to warrant that he be allowed to defend himself. The court said the evidence and exhibits and the need for him to demonstrate and lead evidence on his allegations of an extraordinary rendition required that the defendant is given the opportunity and afforded his fundamental rights to fair hearing to be allowed to enter his defense. Kanu is being prosecuted by the DSS on a 7-count charge bordering on his alleged involvement in terrorism activities.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Federal High Court in Abuja has directed the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, to constitute a team of experts to evaluate the health status of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Delivering the ruling on Friday, Justice James Omotosho ordered that the medical team's report be submitted within 8 days to assist the court in deciding on Kanu's request to be transferred to the National Hospital Abuja for proper medical care. The judge instructed the experts to visit the Department of State Services DSS medical facility to verify its capacity to cater to Kanu's health needs. He further held that the NMA team is permitted to use any hospital in the country for its assessment. According to the ruling, the committee should consist of between 8 and 10 members, including a cardiologist, a neurologist, and the chief medical director of the National Hospital. Kanu is currently facing a 7-count terrorism charge before the Federal High Court.
The management of Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical has announced a sweeping reorganization of its operations and workforce, citing repeated sabotage incidents that pose serious safety risks at the 650,000 barrels per day facility. In a letter signed by the Chief General Manager, Human Asset Management, Femi Adekule, the company said it was constrained to carry out a total reorganization of the plant after several reported acts of sabotage in different units. Affected staff were directed to hand over company property and await clearance before receiving entitlements computed by the Finance Department in line with service conditions. However, a senior official of the refinery dismissed reports of mass layoffs, clarifying that the exercise was not a staff purge but a system-wide cleanup aimed at curbing sabotage and plugging operational leakages. The official explained that the reorganization was carried out without prior notice to prevent those involved from concealing evidence of misconduct. He also emphasized that refinery operations remain ongoing with both Nigerian and expatriate staff actively at work.
The Katsina state government has dismissed 303,488 workers from 34 local government councils and education authorities following a biometric screening exercise that uncovered widespread payroll fraud. Governor Diko Maru Rada received the committee's report at a state executive council meeting where he said the probe exposed ghost workers, falsified documents, absenteeism and illegal promotions. Out of 50,172 staff screened, 46,380 were verified, while others were found with fake credentials, failed to appear or engaged in fraudulent practices. The committee also recovered 4.6 million naira from individuals collecting double salaries or drawing pay while on leave of absence. Chairman of the committee, Abdullahi A. Garagi, revealed that the Education Secretary of Zango Local Education Authority, LEA, was implicated in inserting 24 ghost workers into the payroll, describing it as a serious breach of trust. The screening was conducted by a 10-member committee of retired permanent secretaries, directors and security personnel, supported by 16 co-opted members.
Tragedy struck the Dura community in Jos South local government area of Plateau State on Thursday night as 4 artisanal miners lost their lives in a mining pit collapse. Eyewitnesses said the ground caved in while the victims were working inside the pit. A resident, Chuang Devo, confirmed the incident, noting that several miners were trapped. Governor Caleb Mfwang's aide on artisanal mining, Solomon Dong, explained that 3 victims died instantly, while the 4th, rushed to the hospital, later passed away. The Plateau State Police Command could not be reached for comments. The incident has again raised concerns over the safety of artisanal mining in Plateau State, coming just as the Petroleum Technology Development Fund and the University of Jos urged stakeholders to adopt modern, safer mining practices at a workshop in the state capital.
At least 4 people have been confirmed dead and about 400,000 displaced as severe tropical storm Oluyole battered the Philippines, triggering landslides and widespread evacuations. This comes just days after Super Typhoon Ragasa left 9 dead in the north. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiles details and other stories as presented by Bimbo Akambi.
The Weather Bureau, Pagasa, said the storm, the 15th tropical cyclone to hit the country this year, packed gusts of up to 135 kilometers per hour as it swept across the central islands early Friday. Authorities warned of continued heavy rainfall, flash floods and mudslides in vulnerable areas. Civil defense officials said that more than 87,000 people were evacuated from the eastern Bicol region, while about 73,000 sought refuge in government shelters in eastern and northern Sama provinces. In Masbate, 3 people were killed, including one pinned by a tree, while a 4th victim was struck by lightning in Cameroon's Note. Satellite images released show the widespread destruction in Guangfu, Hualien County after Typhoon Ragasa battered Taiwan earlier in the week. The photos reveal mud covering large swaths of the town after the Maitian Creek overflowed, flooding residential areas. According to Maxa, the inundation was triggered when torrential rainfall reached the Maitian Creek Barrier Lake, which had formed in July during landslides caused by tropical storm Wifa. Barrier lakes formed when landslides or debris block a river and they are highly unstable and prone to collapse, Focus Taiwan noted. The Hualien County government reported at least 14 deaths and 46 injuries as of late Wednesday, with authorities still working to verify the number of missing. Aalborg Airport in northern Denmark was briefly closed on Friday following another suspected drone sighting, the second shutdown in less than 24 hours amid growing security concerns. The incident comes after drones were reported over several Danish airports and a military air base earlier in the week, prompting temporary closures, including at the Copenhagen airport. Police said the drones flew across wide areas before leaving on their own, with no arrests made so far. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen described the incursions as part of hybrid attacks aimed at destabilizing Denmark, warning that such flights could multiply. Bimbo Akambi, BCUS News.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has formally presented the staff and certificate of office to Oba Rashidi Ladoja, officially confirming him as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land.
The Federal High Court Abuja has rejected the no-case submission of the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, in his ongoing alleged terrorism trial.
Tragedy struck the Dura community in Jos South local government area of Plateau State on Thursday night as 4 artisanal miners lost their lives in a mining pit collapse.
And at least 4 people have been confirmed dead and about 400,000 displaced as severe tropical storm Oluyole battered the Philippines, triggering landslides and widespread evacuations.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Afolakemi Akombi and delivered by
Josephine Oluwabumi. Good evening.
And Jamila Iligbede. Thank you for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
Rédíò tí ó láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM àwa ni bàbá.
Kéré o, ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló pàrokò ìbéèrè ránṣẹ́ sí yín ká lè jọmọ bó ṣe ń lọ. Wọ́n ní ǹjẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé ní báyìí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ńlá ni kéèyàn já yanrìn, wọ́rọ̀kúta, ọparun, òkúta lílà àtàwọn èròjà àkọlé sójú pópó. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yìn àmọ̀ kì í ṣe lé ìgbín? Bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ lójú pópó kì í ṣàyè ìgbọ́kọ̀ tó ti godó sí. Bóyá lẹ mọ̀ pé ìwà ìbìkítà wọ̀nyí ló ń sọ àwọn òpópónà tó fẹ̀ dáadáa di tó rótó ṣàkóbá fún lílọ bíbọ̀ gerege ọkọ̀. Àníṣẹ́ àṣà pálapàla ìlòkulù àwọn ọ̀nà tíjọba fowó gọbọi ṣe ló ń ṣokùnfà ìdíbàjẹ́ wọn láìtọ́jọ́ tó sì ń gbọ́n owó tùlù tó yẹ kó lọ sórí ìpèsè àwọn ohun amáyédẹrùn míì lọ lákòótọ́ ọba. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ wá gbọ́ àjèjì ọwọ́ kan ò gbẹ́rù lórí níjọba ṣe fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ gbárùkù ti òun fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ ara wa pé ká ní àyípadà ọkàn sí bá a ṣe ń lo dúkìá ìlú ká má bàa farakátà òfin tó tayéye. àjẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń kọ́lé lọ́wọ́ nírònà àtàbánikọ́lé gan-an tẹ́ ẹ kúrò jíjá èròjà ìkọ́lé sójú pópó ẹ̀yà ajẹ́kóró ké fáǹfààní mùtúmùwà tó ń lo òpópónà kékulé ó gbọ́ ó sọ fún toko kádùn ó gbọ́ kóròyìn fóbẹ̀ pé láti àkókò yìí lọ ìjọba bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fi ọwọ́ ṣẹ̀kún òfin tó gbóná girigiri mú ẹni yòówù tó bá já èlò kọ́lé tàbí gbé òkú ọkọ̀ sójú títì ṣe ìdíwọ́ fún ìjágeere lílọ bíbọ̀ ọkọ̀. Torí náà ẹ wá gbo dẹ́kun fún ìwà àìlákàsí, ẹ bọ̀wọ̀ fófin àlàáfíà àyíká àti tìrìnà lójú pópó káwùjọ wa lè dòwò kó rẹwà láti gbé fún tònílé tàlejò. Ká máa rántí pé awífúnni kó tó dání àgbà àjàkadì ní o. Ilé iṣẹ́ BCOS ló ń kí gbogbo wa nílọ̀ pé ìgbọràn sàn jẹ̀bọ rírú.
ètò ìlera nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń gbèrú sí i pẹ̀lú akitiyan ètò ìjọba ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé láti pàṣẹ ilé iṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀